Welcome back. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. Major headline: Federal government cushioning effect of reforms, says ministers. 20 million Nigerians get cash support. Petrol subsidy removal has opened sector to investment. Tinubu Edo will get full support. Under 18 pupils won't sit for WASC, minister insists. Prisons controller suspended as probe of Bobrisky's claim begins. Senate passes Southwest Development Commission bill. Jonathan refutes Emir Sanusi's claim on missing $49.8 billion US. Ex-Governor Yahaya Bello not afraid of facing trial, says media office. What stories do we have in The Nation? Who's going?
Okay, let me go then. At the very bottom strip, I have the former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello says he's not afraid of facing justice on the alleged 80.2 billion naira money laundering charge. This is by his media office. They say the ex-governor will pursue the lane of constitutionality to its logical end instead of falling for baits and traps of the EFCC. He's also asked the president to order a thorough investigation into the face-off between the EFCC and Yahaya Bello. And he goes on to say that if EFCC does not have any hidden plans against Bello, it ought to have taken him into custody when he voluntarily went to the commission's headquarters September 18th. You know, that also, for me, too, I thought about that as well. And then the EFCC had put out a statement, and in response to that statement, they said that that statement should be regarded as an embarrassment to the anti-graft agency itself. It's filled with all forms of vulgar invectives that clearly show malicious intentions against the former governor, rather than the EFCC's pretentious fight against corruption. There's so many allegations, you know, here going back and forth, but in summary, it's just saying that Yahaya Bello is willing, you know, to face justice, but thorough investigations need to be done. He's willing for those investigations to be carried out.
Okay.
Let's see.
So I have a story here. The federal government has defended its ban on pupils under 18 years old sitting for the Senior School Certificate Examinations, SSCE, accusing parents of whoring their children, their words. The Education Minister, Tahir Maman, said this yesterday in Abuja at a briefing by government officials on the preparation for next week's celebration of the nation's independence anniversary, which happens October 1st. So in July, we know that he had announced that starting from 2025, candidates below 18 will not be allowed to sit for the SSCE. Although he said that the development was in line with the country's laws, the move had created, you know, a lot of ripples across the country. A lot of people are, you know, talking about it. There's a lot of backlash. But at the interministerial press briefing in Abuja, he defended the policy, saying it will pay the country in the long run. I would have loved to understand how that will be. He says our laws, the Universal Basic Education Act and the Minimum Standard Policy Act established in 1993 prescribed specific age limits and provisions for every entry level of education: 6 years in primary school, 3 years in junior secondary school, 3 years in senior secondary school, and then 5 to 6 years before primary school. So you have to be 5 to 6 years before primary school. A child is expected to enter school at the age of 6. But it says what is happening now is that our parents have been in a hurry. They frog jump their children, get them into school at the age of 4, skip level 6 at primary school, and also skip level 6 at secondary school. So the children finish quite too young. Now, what we've done is that with the type of curriculum that we've introduced, we need them to be in place as prescribed by the Act. So he said the ministry was only implementing already existing laws. It's not like it introduced a new law. This has been on for so far, and then went ahead to give other details of the Act. But the thing is, parents started jumping their children for specific reasons. We've, you know, discussed that extensively on the show. You graduate from school, the labor market has an age that keeps you, and with all the strike that happens in the university, some people do not meet up to the cutoff, and then they don't have jobs anymore. And so parents had to, okay, what's the best way we can help our children? So the root cause is still the root cause. We are not addressing it. It's not about keeping them till 18 before they write the examination, at least.
Okay. Yeah, so I have the one with the marketers and the Dangote, because they have just been going back and forth. They said due to the pricing mechanism in the oil sector, independent oil marketers may not be able to buy petrol for sale from the Dangote refinery. They said there has been a pricing disagreement following which independent marketers have been itching to be given the opportunity for direct purchase from the refinery. They want to be able to go to the refinery and buy the product by themselves instead of going through NNPC, because they said NNPC has been the sole off-taker of petrol in the refinery since it rolled out product in September 15th. And they are now saying that, they said, an expert in the industry, Festus Osifo, said, with the current situation of things, even if independent markets are allowed to buy the product from the refinery, the pump price will be higher than it is presently.
Wow.
So they are just going up and down. The independent marketers want to buy directly, and then NNPC again. And I'm just wondering, NNPC, shouldn't you go and try and start up your own refinery? And they now said that that the refinery is trying to, they are trying to subsidize the amount. And I'm like, on a private business, yeah, you want to do subsidy there. Start up your refineries, let your refineries work. So that the independent marketers can
have a free hand to do their own business. Then the forces of market, this thing will handle it.
Yes, so this Bobrisky story and allegation is getting more interesting by the day. Yes, so the federal government yesterday suspended 2 senior officers of the Nigerian Correctional Service over alleged infractions regarding the incarceration of celebrity cross-dresser Mr. Idris Okune, a.k.a. Bobrisky. So, if we recall, recently, an audio recording was released whereby Bobrisky was having a conversation with a friend, right? And then in the audio, it was heard saying that EFCC took a bribe of 50 million naira from him to drop the charges, money laundering charges against him. So he was only charged for abuse of the naira, spraying of money. EFCC chairman Olu Olukoyede and Minister of Interior Tunji Ojo have had ordered investigations. And then as yesterday, some people were suspended immediately. The 2 officers, senior officers that were involved directly with Bobrisky's case have been suspended. Also, 2 other officers were also suspended for misdemeanors in different facilities. Mr. Michael Omugwa, Deputy Controller of Corrections, DCC, in charge of medium security custodian in Kirikiri, Lagos, was suspended. Mr. Dekunle Siriku, Deputy Controller of Corrections, still suspended. Also, somebody in the Ebonyi State, one of the officers there, the DCC, and also another person, in Afibo, in the Ebonyi State, was suspended. So the House of Representatives are saying that this must be investigated to the full extent, and that anybody that is found, because it's sad that EFCC is supposed to be the ones charging and holding people responsible, right, for corruption. And it's sad if they are found wanting. So they need to make sure that this is done, the bad eggs are removed from the system. And let's see how that goes. But that every investigation will be made public. Everything, all the findings from the investigation will be made, yes, with transparency. Okay. I hope so.
So now the Punch, major headline, federal government begins payments of salaries, salaries rise to 4 trillion. Okay, 1,236,824 workers, federal workers, to earn 334.9 billion naira monthly. NLC TUC loud federal government. Why my admin suspended Sanusi? This is according to Jonathan. Oil companies owe government over $6 billion by NATI. Federal government probing bandit sponsors. That's Defense Headquarters. 21 children killed in Kenyan school fire buried. Bobrisky reps commence probe, prison suspenders or controllers suspended. Kwara hails death sentence for 5 of our bank robbers. Afenifere demands restructuring as Senate OK Southwest Development Commission. Let me quickly take the picture story here before we go on a short break. So a mass funeral had been held for the 21 children who were killed in a boarding school fire in central Kenya earlier this month, according to Al Jazeera reports. Each small coffin was topped with a photograph of most of the boys killed, aged between 9 and 13. Now, grieving relatives and former classmates had to come to bid them farewell on Thursday. Said dozens of children carrying flower wreaths led funeral procession for the boys from Hillside and the Rasha Academy in Yeri Town, who were aged between 9 and 13. So according to Reuters report, said they were trapped in a dormitory as the blaze, spread through the building September 6th. And Kenya so far has had sad stories of, fire outbreaks. They said they've been more than 60 cases of arson in public secondary schools in 2018. And, these are according to the data that they have. So there were thousands of mourners there. Everybody's just, crying. It was, yes.
Day.
May their souls rest in perfect peace. Amen. We'll take a breather here. When we come back, the newspaper reviews continue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.